For quarter two, the macroeconomic environment was relatively positive. This was a reflection of the election of President Macron in France and the most recent UK general election. With Macron's presidency and his parliamentary majority, he has a mandate to make the necessary structural changes within the French economy. The UK general election would suggest that a soft Brexit is a more likely option. Actual economic releases have been relatively positive also from a Q2 perspective, not least in the eurozone where manufacturing data was extremely positive. We expect the outlook to be reasonably benign for the rest of the year. We expect GDP growth in the US to reach about 2.2%. We expect the Federal Reserve to remain accommodative with possibly one more hike the second half of the year. They did hike at their June meeting. They seem less concerned with regards to the low inflation figures on the basis of an unemployment rate of 4.3%, and they believe that wage inflation is imminent. And with that wage inflation, the US consumer should direct a self-sustaining recovery within the US economy. With regards to the eurozone, we believe that the ECB also will remain accommodative with less austerity and less political concerns, not least with the postponement of what seemed like an imminent Italian general election. We feel GDP growth could reach 2% for 2017 on an annualised basis. With regards to the UK economy, since the Brexit vote of last year, the GDP figures have been pretty good. This is a reflection of the Bank of England and their support, both in terms of cutting rates and what they have said verbally, but also it's a reflection of the depreciated exchange rate. Unfortunately, the weaker exchange rate has provided inflationary pressures within the UK economy, and it's these inflationary pressures which do concern us, particularly with an over-indebted consumer. With regards to China, the IMF have increased their GDP forecast to 6.7% for 2017, and we believe that China certainly will not provide a brake on global growth for this year. There are always some outstanding risks, not least the geopolitical concerns, particularly at the present moment with regards to North Korea, and the possibility that monetary authorities may hike prematurely until we see that famed self-sustaining recovery. But in general terms, we're relatively positive on the second half of the year from a macro perspective.